Alright, I'm Yapo. Welcome back to the second half of my game versus Jack. With me is
This
Wandering
is
Newbie.
Wandering Newbie.
Yeah, there you go. I still have a player dead, and we're set up for the kickoff. I set up.
We're not. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that you're not really starting off in a bad situation. There's always room for recovery. It's just that he has more room for recovery.
And how Jack is set up right now is he's set up for a pretty traditional move in Blood Bowl. He's put all his guys on one side, and what he's going to try and do is knock out all the guys on that side and advance. Jack actually thought he received, or since I received first half, he got the last move, and so he actually thought it was the second half this game. So he might not have meant to do this, and might have thought he only had one turn left before he started the half two, but he's got to deal with it. So
Also, what we saw right there was another kickoff event known as high kick. What happens here is the fluff is that the kicker kicked the ball really high in the air. And what it allows the receiving team to do is to move any player they want, any player on the field, underneath where the ball is going to land. So it allows you to catch the ball immediately so you don't have to make a pickup roll.
it gives you a free roll to try and pick up the ball, which is very handy. Although, as you kick, there's actually no modifiers. Unlike if you pick it up off the ground, you get a +1 modifier because it's just sitting there still.
Right.
And a POW on my guy that has block and dodge, meaning that's the one die roll that can get him on the ground.
Blodgers. Blodger is a common Blood Bowl term for anybody that has block and dodge.
It means only one of the 6 die results can put them on the ground. It makes them quite a bit safer as far as being blocked.
Right. There we saw your thrower use the Sure Hand skill. Sure Hands is kind of like dodge, but for picking up the ball. In that you just get a free reroll. Also, I think you get a +1 to pickups.
No. The +1 is picking up off the ground. Just
okay.
Straight up. The only time you get a +1 to pick up is if it's not moving or it's an accurate pass or a handoff. And those are catch rolls, not actual pickup rolls, which
right.
only matter when you have the catch or sure hand skill.
Speaking of catching,
Yeah,
you just didn't.
No,
or he didn't.
He didn't. He tried to make a pass to his. Right now, it looks like I'm trying to make a -2 dice block, but the runners on the Norse team have a skill called Dauntless. You see the pop up there. You roll a d6, and if the roll of your d6 plus the strength plus your strength is greater than your opponent's strength, you act like you have the same strength they do for that block. So with a single assist,
so you get a 1 die block.
Yeah, with a single assist you can get 2. So right there I failed Dauntless, but it was okay because the ogre doesn't have block, and my guy does. So had he taken the block, ogre would have gone down, and my guy would have still been standing.
Right.
So it was still all right, and it's kind of a dangerous thing to do dauntless blocks, but at that point, I didn't.
It's kind of like if you have no other choice, do a dauntless block.
And a dauntless block on strength 4 is actually fairly safe if you have an assist, because worst case scenario, you get a 1 dice block.
I'm actually very surprised you didn't get the dauntless.
Yeah, 3+ roll with reroll is
Ooh.
fairly easy one. So now I've got a guy on the ball who's free and clear and also has dodge. And then a big guy waiting. Both of those guys near the ball have frenzy, so they're close enough to the sideline that he can't risk putting too many guys around the corner, or he's going to get pushed off the field again.
You started to learn at this point.
Jack has actually played several games before this, so he saw what happened last half, so he's playing a bit more conservatively. I will warn you though, this video is only 17 minutes long, because I'm kind of a dick the rest of this game. I'll be honest.
You're really pissed off about that one guy.
Yeah, I literally bought him the previous game.
Oh.
Rerolls to pull it down.
Oh
That would be a dead
no.
Norse werewolf from the same player that killed the runner as well.
And Norse werewolves don't have blood.
Yep. And there you see Norse werewolf has same armor, more strength actually than that guy does. Bigger player by all accounts, but all it takes is the right injury roll, and you are completely screwed.
We've seen snotlings take down mummies.
Yep. And here, what I'm doing is since the ogre has a tackle zone on the ball, ogres are very hard to punch. So I do a chain push to push the ogre off the ball, and then get my guy near it as well.
Damn, that's another guy you just took out.
I believe that was a miss next game, but Norse are considered to be kind of glass cannons of punching people. They can put down a whole lot of punches. It's because they have frenzy and 5 players with base strength excess.
Right. One thing I want to talk about since we've been. Oh my god.
Yeah, he ends up having like 6 KOs. In the
One thing I want to talk about since we've been seeing these numbers pop up a lot. This is somewhat of an RPG of a game in that players have experience where they level up and get skills. There's a number of different ways to get skills. The most often seen one is whenever you cause an injury, so anything worse than a KO, you will get 2 points. You also get 3 points for a touchdown, 1 point for a completed pass, and I believe 2 for an interception.
I can't recall. You never see interceptions because you get an interception only happens on a roll of a 6 for all intents and purposes. So most players don't.
Unless you have very long legs.
Even then, it's still most players don't throw passes through interceptions that often. So you don't have the chance to intercept but once in a blue moon, and then you got to roll a 6 to do it, and then you can't use a reroll on it. So, but yeah, as it stands right now, he's got 4 KOs and a miss next game, and I've got 2 dead and a KO. So it's kind of a bloody game.
We call that an active game. Oh, I was hoping for reroll to skull.
Skull is what we use for attacker down. Skull is the only thing you can't get a skill to stop. If you roll a skull, you're done. Your player goes down and the other guy stays standing.
Now, you'd think with rerolls that wouldn't be much of a problem, but the number of times that there's been a double skull, reroll to double skull, is more often than not.
And so what happened there is he tried to dodge his blitzer out to pick up the ball, but he tried to dodge into a tackle zone without dodge, and it failed badly.
If you dodge into a tackle zone, you get a -1 on your dodge.
Right. And 3 agility is not the best for dodging, especially without the dodge skill.
Right.
And so now, picking up the ball first isn't the best, but I had rerolls left and wanted to make sure I got the ball back. So I did that first, and now I just am punching dudes because I want more of them to die, because that gives me good experience.
Also because he's killed 2 of your guys.
Yeah, there's a little of that, and there's another KO.
Damn.
So he's down to 5 players on the pitch, and I have
At this
10.
point, with this kind of outnumbering, he's not recovering in any way. I mean, maybe the ogre will take somebody out, but you can pretty much get enough assists that he's going to have 2 die blocks against no matter what.
I have enough players that I can literally 2 die block every player on the field that's left standing on the field. And that does not make for good times in keeping players on the pitch.
Also, if a player is down, if the player is down and you pick him up that turn, he can still move, but you get a -3 to your movement. So at this point, nobody's catching up to the ball carrier.
The blitzer could theoretically catch him, but he has to dodge out of a tackle zone and then do a 1 dice block against a guy with block and dodge. And failed his dodge first, had to use the last reroll.
but got pushed. Now, had he had strip ball, that would have been fine.
Strip ball being a skill that allows you to pull the ball out of a player's hands when you push them. And it's very useful for guys who have block and dodge.
Tackle strip ball, one of the worst things to be up against.
And if you add wrestle to that, 5 of 6 dice results get you the ball free from the guy who's holding it. So those players...
Pretty much the only way to counteract somebody with a blodge ball carrier.
And so I think I'm just going to blitz him off with a ball carrier. I'm not sure what I decide to do here. It's been a while since I've played this game.
Another fun fact: if you normally you can only throw a block against somebody if you start the turn next to them. However, once per turn, you get what they call the blitz roll. You can declare a blitz on a player, and he is allowed to throw a block against a opponent that he is not up against, generally shown off with the giant lightning bolt appearing above the person's head. The fun thing is that the person who throws the blitz block is still allowed to move after throwing the block. So you can sometimes see people will blitz with their ball carrier so that they can knock the person down and then get away.
And here, for some reason, I guess I decided that I had 4 turns left, so I would just straight up punch him and not even bother moving away. But it ended up working out because the circle of stars like that, the full circle, is Cyanide's thing for stunned. So this turn he rolls over but can't stand up. And so he has nothing that can actually reach my players right now.
Stun is probably one of the most annoying things to happen because it's like, he's still on the field, but I can't do anything with him.
Stunned also makes players a prime target for fouls, which I don't believe there are any fouls in this game, but you're allowed once per...
Foul...
Go ahead.
No, you explain.
You're allowed once per turn to try and foul another player. It's describing the fluff as putting a boot to a down player, so the icon in Cyanide's a little boot. And for every player around, you get +1 on an armor roll against that player. And if you break armor, you make an injury roll like normal, and you can do all sorts of stuff. Actually, in a game I played just previous to this, I fouled a Minotaur, which is a big guy who costs 150,000, and killed him on a foul with a lucky roll. Fouling is not without its disadvantages, though. The referee will spot you if you foul. If you roll...
I think it's if on your injury... It's if you're on your armor roll, you roll 2 of the same number.
Or injury. Either one. The referee will spot you and eject you from the game. That also causes a turnover.
Right. And being ejected from the game is pretty much the equivalent of being badly hurt.
Wait, here we go.
Gone.
Here's a foul, actually, on the ogre. And since I rolled 2 1s on the armor, my player gets ejected. The ref calls him on it, and he now sits out the rest of the game.
You can get an ability called Dirty Player, which gives you another +1, I believe.
Yes, Dirty Player gives you +1 on the armor break, or injury if you don't need it on the armor break. And then the other fouling skill is a skill by the name of Sneaky Git, and it means the referee will not eject you if you don't break armor. So if I had Sneaky Git there, that player would still be on the pitch.
Generally, if you have a team with very cheap players like Khemri Skeletons, or I believe Undead Zombies, you give them things like Dirty Player because, hey, they're cannon fodder.
Their job is to get punched, and then maybe important players take out of the game with a foul, even if they get banned for it. Because at this low a TV, you don't have a whole lot of extra players. And that's really harsh, because...
damn.
That's why we
say... Is that on a going for it?
That's why we say going for it's have extra injury potential. What happened is he was trying to mark my player up so it would be harder for me to get a touchdown, and failed a going for it, and fell over and knocked himself out. So now...
So he rolled a 1, and then rolled... Because I think you have to make an armor
Yeah, you have to make an armor roll still. But...
So he rolled a, 10 or something on the armor. 9.
And it's bad for him to have that happen. Because now I
Yeah.
have complete impunity to just sit there like a dick.
What does he have left? Just a line, two linemen and an ogre.
Now there's there's a blitzer I think next to my berserker down there. Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
but he doesn't have a whole lot of players left, and at this point,
That's an
normally
understatement.
stalling is kind of looked down on, which is what I'm doing right now. I could have scored a touchdown there, but I'm not. And stalling is kind of looked down on because it's boring, and we just sit here and watch me punch guys while I wait for the game to get close to the end. But this will give me the winning
Uh,
touchdown, and I've already had 2 players die. So to even
yeah.
get back my roster, I need 200,000 in winnings.
Two positionals at that, not even linemen.
Right. And winning gives you plus 20,000 and an ability to re-roll if you roll bad winnings. So I was like, I'm not going to risk any more of my players by having to line them up.
And the ogre, I believe, rolled really stupid or
Bonehead.
bonehead.
Which means if he were standing up, he would lose his tackle zones and would just stand there and not be able to do anything. Wouldn't provide assists, wouldn't provide anything, wouldn't
And
move.
the big thing on this is you roll the bonehead roll, which is a
2+.
2+.
Yep, Bonehead is 2+.
2+. Right. Really stupid is a 4+.
Unless, yeah,
Um.
Bonehead's... Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, he has to roll a 2+. The thing is, the 2+ roll comes after you declare every action for that player. So if he had blitzed, the blitz would be null, which I think he actually did.
Yeah. If you declare a blitz with a boneheaded player and they roll boneheaded, then your blitz is wasted that turn.
Why dodge with the ogre into a tackle zone?
Because it's the last.
Oh no, it was out of it.
It's the last turn. And the ogre is probably not going to die.
I wouldn't have even risked it.
And that's the game. 2-1 for my Norse team, but at the cost of 2 dead players, so Jack really kind of won that game.
Lost. The moral victory, as we like to call it.
Yes. And I rolled a 5, so I'm not going to re-roll my winnings. We actually both got a lot of money. And to add insult to my injury, that's the runner that died that got my MVP.
MVP is 5 experience points. And it's random. Completely random.
And so that's the end of the game.